when we meet afterwards, we're going to meet just across the road, so that affords you an opportunity to take photos of the Moulin Rouge of an evening time. I know that those of you that have come in from North America, you of course come in, and then you had sightseeing in London and the rest of it, but I only get contracted from the morning, so that's an early start for me. I take a taxi in, I meet up with people, and then we hopped onto the local coach in London, made our way around to St Pancras station where we took the Eurostar. Eurostar brought us then through to Brussels, capital of Belgium, where we met up with Ben, onto this coach, our second home more or less, and then off we went. We made our way up to Amsterdam. So when we got to Amsterdam, dropped our bags in the hotel, then into the city centre for a little bit of a walk around. Most of you partook in a little walk up through the red light district, the old historical part of the city, and then had some free time for doing some shopping. Some other people took part in other things. I think there's someone down the back who we're referring to. Anyway, we then hopped onto our boat cruise. Remember that nice little canal cruise we did of an evening time? Had some dinner on there. Our captain gave us plenty of information as we went around. Normally they don't do that. I was very surprised. He's like, oh, I'm happy to do it. Okay, good. Anyway, we ended up back at our hotel. Next morning, early start, we got away and we made our way up into Germany. Next stop was Germany, so we travelled within about 2 hours. We were already on the German border, and then we went around that massive big open cast mine, had our coffee break, and then it was onwards to the River Rhine. We headed down to a little town called Boppard, where it was a Roman garrison back in the times of a couple of thousand years ago. We hopped onto our boat, and he had a chance to get a bite to eat whilst we cruised along the River Rhine. The Mittel Rhine is the region that we're in. We hopped off the boat in St Goar, the town there. We saw the Lorelei, of course. We saw lots of castles, vineyards in the area, so typical. We then drove down to the city of
Heidelberg.
Heidelberg, yeah. Heidelberg first, so we got to Heidelberg. Remember the Heidelberg castle and the old bridge and the monkey? Did anyone have a photo with the monkey? Yeah, so down there, of course you had the Schneeball, or just, I saw people sitting out having coffees and stuff, so yeah, nice bit of a relaxing afternoon. Onto the coach, and we drove to Seine, which is where we stayed the evening. Had our dinner, and the next day we're up and going pretty early because some people were heading off to Oberammergau. Some of us went down to Innsbruck. Again, so those of you that went to the Oberammergau Passion Play, fantastic thing that goes on once only every 10 years, although in saying that it's going to be ready to go in another 8 years time, because it's normally on the 0 year when they're going to have the Passion Play. So 2030 will be the next Passion Play. We at the Europa Brücke, then we drove down. Remember, we had quite heavy traffic on our way past Lake Garda, and we finally made our way onto Venezia. When we got there, we took our boat into the Rialto Island area, walked you in, little orientation. We saw the mosaics, we saw a little hidden treasure with, of course, the Venetians taking the bones or the body of St. Mark away. After our orientation, we did a glass blowing demonstration, which is a make travel matter because we want the Venetians to be able to continue to do that for hopefully another few hundred years or whatever it may be. It was very hard for them to get young people that want to be doing that now getting 15 years to become a master. It's a difficult job. We then had the gondola ride, and then you had some free time, and then later on we came together. For those that were on the Canal Grande, we hopped on our water taxis. Some took a little bit longer than others. I think they somehow mucking around with the motor. I know the motor conked out on them, so it was great that you were able to join us again. And we got you all together after the end of the Canal Grande onto the coach, and we went to our hotel. Next day we drove through Veneto, Emilia Romagna. We arrived in Tuscany, and then we went up to the Castel del Trebio, where Alessandro was looking after us, telling us about the history of the Castel del Trebio. These are what we call be my guest experiences, and with those experiences they're kind of fairly unique, that we take you to places that you wouldn't normally go to if you're traveling by yourself. I mean, it's possible, but you're going to have to organise some place to go, and it's nice for us to go and interact with these locals, learn about what they're doing with sustainability, and still trying to make money as well to keep everything in balance. And after our lunch, we had a chance to buy some wines, take photos, and then we're onto the coach and we made our way further south. All roads lead to Roma. We met up with Cinzia at the Ludovisi, and then started the walking tour, which was down through the back streets, so that you got to go to the Trevi Fountain, Pantheon, Navona Square, but of course you're going to see other things like the Marcus Aurelius column, the Treasury of Hadrian, so you saw lots of different things, and of course a nice introduction into Rome, free time to have some dinner before we then hopped on the coach and went to our hotel. Next morning, our included visit to the Basilica of St. Peter's. So remember, we went into St. Peter's in the morning a bit early so that we had to keep away from the crowds and stuff, so it stops that mucking around a wee bit. And then of course you had Marco, who came with Cinzia as well, and then afterwards you had some free time after seeing the largest church in the world, which was where you were at, and some free time for the shopping. And then from there we made our way over to the Colosseum, so a little bit of a drive over the Tiber River. We saw the Tiburtina Island, which is the island, the cradle we can say of Rome, Colosseum, and then again went inside the Colosseum. We had our visit through there, didn't have to wait in line, which was very nice. Next morning we made our way back into Tuscany via the region of Lazio, then we're in Umbria into Tuscany, and we met up with Giovanna that morning, and Giovanna took you for a walk through the streets so you could see the highlights of Florence, and one being the religious centre, which of course was the baptistry, the Duomo, and the Campanile, the bell tower of Giotto, then down to the political area, which was the Piazza Signoria, and of course the Palazzo Vecchio, the town hall that's there, and the loggia with all of the statues inside of it. Some free time afterwards for leather, gold, silver, Pinocchios, some paintings. Maybe I bought a little painting of a cat. That was my thing. Lucy likes cats, so I saw a cat and I thought I'd better buy that. So yeah, big spend at daddy, you know, 10 euros. It's the thought that counts, huh? And so then we hopped on the coach and we went to the hotel before we went out for the Tuscan dinner. So we went to a place called Trepini, Three Pines. That was the name of the place that we went to. Welcomed with a little blue drink that everyone seemed to be liking, but you can't drink too much of it. It'd be a bit too much after a while. Then on to the Fragolini, the different wines that they had on the table, the Chianti, which is typical from Libro's vineyards, the meats, the antipasto, the pasta. They had the truffle one come out, ravioli with truffle. That one I like very much so. And then of course after that, after dessert, we hopped on the coach and we back to our hotel. Up past Bologna, Milan, and then we arrived into Switzerland to see all changed. Beautiful scenery, of course, as we come past the lakes and then into the mountains, and lucky enough to spend a full day in and around the mountains and be blessed by some good weather. At least not bad weather, you know. So, you know, had we been there today, it might have been a little, maybe not quite as pleasant as it was yesterday. Anyway, we had a very nice day for the boat cruise. Cruised along to the Alpnachstadt, which is where we started our cog railway, up the mountain, spent some time up on top of the mountain before we bring the cable car back down, and then back around to Lucerne. So a great way to round out our time in Lucerne. And the next part was having a dinner last evening, and then brings us to today, our drive up into Paris. Hopefully we're there in another couple of hours, and then it's just going to be chill out until 6:30. Those that are coming out with me tonight, then at 6:30 we're going to meet. Remember, you have to have trousers, you have to have shoes, and put on whatever your best gear is that you brought with you for the show tonight. When we meet afterwards, we're going to meet just across the road, so that affords you an opportunity to take photos of the Moulin Rouge of an evening time.